but we've been doing an artist-in-residency program here for 10 or 11 years.
That's amazing.
And it is amazing. And it is a paid 3-week residency.
Which is also amazing.
As Sarah would know, you have been and done many things. I can't even begin to describe your background and what you've been doing. And we will just let you see it and feel free to ask her questions. And I'm going to give her a little bit of time here just to say a few words if you'd like. But she's from Knoxville. And bless you, you had car trouble getting down here and missed her opening. Welcome.
Yeah, thanks to anybody that came. I really appreciate it. Feel free to ask any questions you would have asked back then.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. But our typically we do this today for her to show things that she did here, and you can point that out.
Yep, I will.
And then the things that she brought with her that you've done before.
Yeah. Okay.
At her shop.
Thanks, Harriet.
We're just delighted.
Yeah. First of all, thank you. I feel like Sarah, Harriet, Nick. Like I feel very. I can't like to be able to have the opportunity to do a residency, but one also, as centered in history and the dedication of the people that are connected to that history, and that are so approachable. In a trade that, it's a lot of work, I think, to keep maintained. So this place is it shows a lot of love. And also like personality within the people that keep it alive. And I think that's one thing that obviously I don't do this to be a millionaire. And being able to meet the other people that are dedicated to things like keeping the archive alive, history alive, the trade of letterpress alive. Also teaching it, just getting in a shop and talking, nerding out about it is really important to me, because that's how I've learned. I didn't go to school for this. I kind of had a journey into it, and so, I can't thank you enough. So,
we just have loved having you here. It just goes so fast.
It does, and it's been really amazing to hang out and be so close to everything, being able to walk through.
Some of you don't know Nicholas Silberg is at Savannah State and chair of the fine arts.
Department. Now it's arts and creative leadership, but yeah.
Oh, okay. Whatever. You're always changing.
Big changes in academia.
Zippy words.
But Nick has been with Sarah, of course, our vice president and shop manager and person who has taught herself letterpress because she got so intrigued with it, and does very beautiful work herself. Look at her, very modest. But those of you who maybe didn't make it to the big opening or who have never been here, you can always call us and we'll take you to the shop to give you a tour. We also have...
And Nick will probably open it up tonight.
A little bit.
I'll be around. Yeah. We can go after whenever.
And periodically we have something called Open Studio where you can come and you get to print something yourself. So stay tuned to our website and you'll be able to keep up with all of that. But yes, Nick and Sarah toiled in that print shop trying to revive it.
It's amazing.
After Mr. Haynes just left it and closed the door. It was an amazing journey because it was packed full of stuff. I mean, tight everywhere.
Still is.
Yeah.
Yes, but that's the beauty of it.
It is.
But it's now it's like I can't even imagine what that was like, the journey to get it into a working teaching shop. I guess talking about it, does anybody want to know a micro version of my journey into letterpress or
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I got, so 10 years ago I moved, originally from the Midwest, and started out, went to the University of Iowa for painting, actually, which is funny because I used to be I'm just gonna start something and I'm free, and now I do something that's very regimented, to the most part. I still have that part of me and I haven't disbanded it, but it's definitely if me back then would have looked into the crystal ball of the future and this stuff, I would have been like, there's absolutely no way that I do this. Which, again, I feel very fortunate too. But anyway, so actually went to the grad school at the University of Tennessee after took some time off in between, and ended up moving to Brooklyn, New York, and working at the Pratt Institute in their printmaking department, which is huge. Where I made that's really where I got, like, I worked at Yeehaw Industries, which is a letterpress shop in Knoxville in grad school, but really didn't catch the bug until I moved to Brooklyn. And there are a lot of other people that were dedicated to it that I became friends with, and really through them I started learning. And then in 2015, moved back to Knoxville to open my own shop with 2 other individuals. And the center of that shop was not only like making, I think, you know, if you look at a lot of this work, especially the typeset work, it's about connecting with culture and specifically local culture. Like all of this is Knoxville, right? And I do stuff that's not necessarily Knoxville vested, but I feel like it's a really important thing to me to, like, you know, when coming here, the first thing I did was spend a lot of time in the library because I want to feel connected, or at least like know some things about the culture to be able to get started. But so started something called Stripes Light, which was also the other thing I'm really dedicated to is teaching. So it should, my philosophy is it shouldn't cost $1 million. You shouldn't have to go, you know, back to college to learn something like this, really, or any printmaking. And so we started teaching a lot of letterpress classes. So this is 10 years ago. So fast forward 10 years. After COVID, you know, we realized that the trio business wasn't really working. So I basically in the same space started my own shop. So I've had my own letterpress shop now for 4 years. I don't know. It's gone by. Like, I can't believe it's been 10 years in that space. So I've been in the same space for 10 years. And Knoxville has changed a lot, just like a lot of stuff, small cities. Not necessarily all good, but, you know, you take good with that. So I still am very interested in, and it's very much a part of my mission to be a community space and specifically keep offering workshops. So I teach letterpress workshops, relief printing workshops, model printing workshops. I got a grant to get a press that wasn't a Vandercook or a letterpress or proof printing press. So I do that as well. And that has been really, I really feel dedicated to that because, you know, especially today when there's so many things going on, being able to offer affordable moments of connection and culture is really essential. Like, and it helps me deal with a lot of the weight of things going on in the world right now. So, but anyway, I'm not gonna get into that. I'm just gonna like do like a really express version of like, so like a background of these things, point things out, and then we can like, you're welcome to ask me any questions, and then later go over to the shop. Like, again, like, I love communicating about these things. I don't think I would do this if I didn't, because it's very much about being like falling in love with printmaking. Was kind of the in-between of like starting off as kind of one type of artist and graduating to this. The reason why I fell in love with printmaking is the communal aspect of it. Is being, instead of being in a studio by yourself, you're with other people. And it's something that I've definitely had to adjust to. So now that I have my own business, like I work by myself a lot. I definitely have plenty of meetings and stuff like that. But when I'm really working on stuff, I've realized that another reason I love the workshops, teaching them, is because I want other people in the shop using the equipment. And you know, that's how I learn and get ideas too. So that's what, it's been really nice working in somebody else's shop has been really cool too, because I get so used to working in my own space that I come here, I'm like, you get ideas. You know, it's been really, like, I wish I could do that more often, because it allows me to be like, oh, when I go back, I'm going to do this, you know, like it definitely helps it helps my teaching, like working with other people, and it also helps my own work. Let's see. A lot of this is so like kind of this stuff here is like local Knoxville's like I think what's the most like 2000. I try to put the years on most of my stuff just for my reference, because after a while I'm like, when did I do that? But I like setting these things out because it gives me a good idea. So like, you know, my friends had a show recently where one of them moved away, and I realized I hadn't made a flyer for them yet. I do a lot. If you look in there's a local music venue called the Pilot Light, which is a small, like, underground music venue that's really important to culture in Knoxville. You know, it's pretty small, kind of hole-in-the-wall type place, but, I mean, I've done so many flyers, but, I've dedicated a lot of my time because I'm really invested in the music scene as well. So like there's probably like 20. So, you know, like, and it's also helped me become a better typesetter. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess there's just 4. Well, I've done a ton. Maybe I didn't show it, but like you'll see, if you see the Pilot Light or any of the music ones, like that's Pilot 1. Yes, there's a but this one is for another music, just like across the way. It's my shop, another venue. And then I have worked with the Contradance Association and square dancing. So we called Square on the Square, Market Square. So those are 2 fun ones that I've done. This is one of my favorites, actually. So the Mabry Hazen House is kind of a similar. It's obviously not quite the same, but a woman left her mansion. If you're ever in Knoxville, people in Knoxville don't know about it, which is wild. It's near downtown, and it's built on this beautiful hill, kind of tucked away. And it's she left the house to the city. This really historic, beautiful house, and it is indicative of the area too. So the architecture mirrors like the city in a way that this place does too. But so every year the most popular thing is they actually do the Victorian seances with all of the like parlor tricks and stuff. And so they asked me to do like a poster in the same style as kind of Victorian seance poster, using like, I also do lots of illustration. And so this one has been fun. This is actually photopolymer plate. So that's 2-color photopolymer plate. For those that really want to nerd down. But yeah, so this is one of my favorite ones that I've done somewhat recently, just because I really got into researching seances. And so the spirituality of seances actually has a very close tie to women's suffrage and equal rights and, you know, voting rights. There's a lot of really amazing things that happen with the Victorian spirituality movement, specifically in the Upper East Coast first. So like this was a really cool research project in itself as well. But yeah, so I'm also working with other craft schools. So Airmont, I don't know if anybody's familiar with that. Kind of like Penland, but it's in Gatlinburg. It's actually right next to Dollywood, which is an adventure in itself. But I did something for them recently for an event that they're having. And then one of the cooler things that I've ever done was this spring, as I did something for Phil Glass for their ensemble for a music festival in Knoxville. And I guess he really likes it. I didn't get a bid, but this one was really fun to do because I got to talk with the musicians in the ensemble to kind of get a sense, listen to the music and get a sense for like what's happening there. So, you know, as I'm talking about these things, like if anybody has any questions about the individual, like I'm trying to make micro explanations about them.
Sarah,
Sure.
do you sell any of these?
Yeah. I think I probably brought doubles of almost everything. So yeah, and that's another reason I like doing this. So this is affordable art. You know, I always make extra things. One reason I like doing things like this is I'm like, yeah, I would love to leave you 20, 25, you know, like making extra of these so that like a lot of times, I have a series. I don't have a zippy title for it, but it's like, it's like stating the obvious is kind of what it's about. And so, you know, it's not like I can't believe I have to still say this kind of thing. So women's places everywhere. which was, it started as when Trump first got elected. There were the marches in cities. This was my first one. And so I print a ton of these and then I hand them out. And then afterwards, because I have to pay my rent, I sell them. So I've made many, this is letterpress too. But I've made many copies of this. I think this one is one of my most popular. And then we put that out in South. Is something that my friends and I came up with. So I've made many iterations of this one. This was this year's. And I've made, this was the first iteration of it. So it's kind of changed a little bit. But, and then I did the COVID version of it too, I think. Yeah, there. So, and this is all wood type. So like, where did I do this? Well, I did this in my shop. I just don't have that wood type anymore because it's not mine. It was Brian's. And then Women of World Takeover is another one, which I wish I had time to make more of these. But so one of the prints I made here is a variation of my No Sir print, which I also want to make it Yes Ma'am one. And I'm trying to think of a pronoun appropriate one. So like Yes Friend or like. I want to make, so if I'm going to do a yes ma'am, I want to make another one too. So I'm trying to figure that out right now. But so that takes me to one of the prints that I made one here. So this is made from the collection, which has, I fell in love with all the decorative borders here and just getting to know the type and everything. So I made this particular print. This is one of the ones. And I don't know. There's something really nice about using type from another shop, like really digging in. So this one kind of got me acclimated to that. And so the next one that I only have one run on, but it's going to be a 3-color lino print is right here. And I have the block blocked up on the press. So if you want to come over and look at it, I can talk to you about it as well. So it's going to have a handset element too. I feel like my momentum here, like getting acclimated, getting in, and working, now I'm like really in production mode, so I wish I had more to show. I also made a kind of like a little flyer sticker thing for my shop. Because again, it's all about opening drawers and see, because it's like, I was talking to Nate, it's kind of like looking at somebody's medicine cabinet in the bed. It's like not a creepy way. That sounded a little creepy. But when you're opening type drawers, you don't know what's in it until you open it. Like you do, because they're labeled and you do know the typefaces. I've been doing it long enough that I do, but like you don't, it's not like Photoshop, right? You can't just type it in and be like, oh, there's the type. Like a lot of times, like for a lot of this collection, I've never been able to work with these particular decorative borders, with these particular typefaces. So it's like, for me, I'm like, I want to do all these things and I don't know what I want to, like, so for me, it's been like, okay, focus. You got to do something. And so a lot of like the first 2 days was just being like, looking at everything and being like, oh, I really love this typeface. I really love this typeface. And like, how am I going to make them work? And what's really amazing is it also reflects the history of this place and what the keystone typefaces were of the shop, right? And what you've built up and what Nick's built up within it. So, and not to mention using the presses. So I have a similar cylinder fruit press to the one that's here, and it's got a really awesome history. It was dug out of the sand. That made it like it's really cool. Yeah.
You can. We'll show you the sand. Sand line.
There's a line on it. So
I never noticed it.
Yeah, a lot of these presses have to be restored, right? So they were kind of in starting this like mid 60s, 70s. They were just kind of covered up, right, with a tarp, and then they were basically junked in the 80s and 90s for scrap because scrap prices were really high. Or they sat in barns. They sat. Was it a barn that was like open to the elements or something?
It was like a house that was open to the elements.
Yeah. So, and some people are like, hey, I know somebody that might want this thing, so a lot of love went into that press that, is over there, and it's beautiful. It's a privilege to work on it as well,
A lot of barter goes on in the world of letterpress.
Absolutely.
That garage out here, will probably never hold cars. But it's got quite a collection of things in there, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure you didn't even show her that.
Nope, I opened the door.
You
I
did?
opened the door, yeah. And it's like, wow, okay, this is like, so, yeah, when you acquire type, which, like, you don't, it's not like you can, go to, like, buy letterpresstype.com and, like, just get whatever you want. It's about being in the right place at the right time, or, like, talking to the right people and just coming across it and happening to have enough money to procure, like, folks like myself and Nick and Sarah, or for whether they're buying for a place like this or utilizing their own funds, a lot of this stuff is going for insane amounts of money and it's not accessible. So it's about like communicating with people. They got trades. I bought my
And your
first.
best deals are with an old print shop that's going out of this.
Yeah, buying a big lot. So buying everything and then putting it into a garage and then, like gradually cleaning the type. And like, I'm still doing that for my last procurement, which was 2 years ago. So, and that's kind of my happy place. Is like the whole world's going to shit, but at least I could sit here and set some like clean my type, put it in drawers. Like I know where it goes. I can close the drawer. That's like that's like it's those little things that people are like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm hanging out in the shop tonight. Like people know that they'll see like the light on, and it'll be like, time. Don't bother her. Like this is her happy place. Like having your studio. But yeah, it's been a privilege to just really have the time to be able to get up and like have coffee and walk over here, walk in here, look at both of these libraries. Like this has been an amazing resource. So like from like you can really tell his work and what he was dedicated to. So like from some like I was digging over here, some of the conservation work that he did, a lot of the like, which is something I know very little about, but like being able to like really see this guy's life and what he's dedicated to, it's a very personal thing, and I was going through some of the print books, and I pulled out one of his watercolor sketchbooks, like there's something really, like I feel really privileged to be able to get a sense for who this person was, and then I forgot I was telling, like Nick and I were at a antique store in Brunswick, and we found one of his books.
Oh,
and
one of the McGarvey.
Yeah.
And he did D-Dawn.
Yeah.
Oh.
And to be able to, and I was, because I just got here like a week prior, and I was like, does that happen often? And it's like, no, it doesn't, so like, and I've been able to quickly recognize his style. Like this really beautiful,
It is.
like, oh, and also like being able to work on some of the paper. So some of the paper that I've been allowed to use is older. Like they really don't, like the presses, they don't make it like they used to, which in itself, just to be able to have a residency where not only do I get paid and I get an amazing place to stay, and they take me out to dinner and treat me like way more awesome than I really am. They're like, yeah, you can use that paper. Yeah, do you need anything? And I'm like, no, I'm good. Like, I show up and there's like snacks and stuff like this. I'm like, I'm never going home. Yeah, take me out. So yeah.
We were lucky to have the Haynes Cottage here on our property that we've renovated over the last couple of years. That's predominantly for Artist-in-Residency.
It's amazing.
And other speakers that might need more than one night or two here. And we're probably we are actually going to do a trial Airbnb with some folks here who will manage it for us and see if we can have a little more cash flow, which is helpful. The lady donated the house in Knoxville. I hope she left them some money. Mr. Haynes, it had petered out by the time he...
Yes, that's another, the individual that runs it. And he actually, part of it is like, he, obviously, you're doing nonprofits. The director actually gets paid. Not a ton, like, honestly, not enough, but he does get a free house.
Yeah.
He lives on premise, so there's a house, like, on this hill, which is really beautiful. But, like, it is, it is these, and they do a lot of programming, and he writes tons of grants, and like, you're right. It's a very hard, anything right now, specifically right now, that is trying to stay alive culturally, operating, maintaining stuff like this. These are ones that weren't part of the installation, but this body of work is kind of like how I still paint and draw and stuff like that, but this is my like more spontaneous part of my brain working out. So basically start with a stack of paper the same size and the press that I use, and I cut blocks and start with a certain color on the press and gradually change it. But each of these is as I'm running the prints through, and I invert the blocks and I switch things around. But so what the product is a series of prints that are all different. So there's over 220 prints in this series, and there's an installation of 88 of them printed on a wall about this big. And these are ones that weren't on that great of the wall. I wanted to bring some of them. So you can kind of see the evolution and the different things that I'm thinking about in color that I don't get to necessarily express when I'm setting type and making like these. This is like all of these are bodies of my work, but like I really can't stick with one thing. You can kind of tell. And so this is also one of these. It's a similar one. So like I was thinking a lot about tapestries, and this I made at Penland actually. This is kind of where I started. So like run the print one way and then invert it and run it the other way, using borders in the shop that they had and all these things. So like this is a similar way to kind of think about making work and building up layers and being okay with the unexpected happening, like having control, but also, seeing what happens gradually over time. So those are those. And I have a couple of I also have those are some of them too. Like there's a couple of them in here. And I did a series that was smaller, that was similar as well. So like this is the one before. So with this next evolution of it, I'm starting to break out of the square itself, and not be quite so like regimented. You can kind of tell like another thing I do is like I have safe colors. I've noticed as a painter, as an artist. I don't know if anybody else has that problem, or maybe it's an advantage. I don't know, but I love orange reds, and like all sorts of blues. Like I have to challenge myself to use colors like purple, and green, and I don't know why I don't use more yellow ever because it's really gorgeous. So it forces me to just work on things like having set rules, which brings me back to kind of a more professional within the realm of what I do here. So I didn't go to school for design. I went to school for art, and now I do graphic design. You kind of have to do a little bit of everything if you work for yourself, and that's how I make a lot of money when the poster work dries up, because especially times like now, people get scared. There's not a lot of grant money available, stuff like that. It goes in waves. So, but and I'm very fortunate to usually have work. But I also like designing for certain types of things too. So like local restaurants, stuff like that. I just had a friend open a North African restaurant yesterday in Knoxville that I did a lot of work for, which is great. Like he's an amazing person. There's nothing like that in Knoxville. So again, I learned a lot culturally about that. But so everything I learned about design, I first learned through typesetting. And then I really, taught myself Photoshop and Illustrator. But the thing that I always had a problem with digital design is there were too many options. There's so many typefaces that you can use, right? With here, you only have a set. There's still a lot of options, but you get a sense for what you really love. If that's how I do it. I got a sense for what I really love, and then I'm able to do that and not just sift through typefaces because there's jokes about designers where it's all you're doing is going through and being nope, not this type, So it allowed me to kind of find my voice graphically and what I like, and discover, just take the time to really feel confident in what I'm doing, so that now I do. You have to. Computers are a necessary evil, right? And so, yeah, I do a lot of. I have a pretty big, report of digital work, and also, another that Mayberry Hazen House is. There's a means to make letterpress work by digitally outputting something and getting a plate made. So this is printed on a Vandercook, but you have to make a plate that gets affixed to a surface that is the same height as the type, and I can show that over there as well. But, sometimes somebody will want a logo or something like that. And that's when you actually can letterpress logos. You just have to have it made on a plate. Another one of my favorite ones I've done. Shit. Yeah. So this was another artist. And this is her work, but I made it on a photopolymer plate. So digital, but like printed on a Vandercook. And then this is all handset type around it. So it's neat to be able to combine all of the things together to make something. But yeah, feel free to look through. I do have extras of most everything if anybody's interested in giving me some gas money on the way home.
You've really
Or paying for my mechanic bill.
well, you've really got a beautiful variety to show us, and to hear your experience is wonderful.
Yeah, I hope I haven't hopped around too much. I think.
Well, I'm sure people are going to have some questions.
Yeah.
And I just would say, don't bring your food and drink in here, please. But we do have light refreshments and some wine and some water and lemonade.
Yeah, and like I said,
And come look at your favorite. Pick your favorite.
Yeah, and ask any questions you like. Honestly, this is just kind of a fraction of the work that I've made. I've found a way to make my ADHD work for myself, and OCD. I was talking to Nick about that. This is how I deal with it. This is. I mean, I don't know. This is how I made it through COVID. I will say, having a studio, we shut everything down. We didn't have workshops. Obviously, took it very serious, a lot more seriously than a lot of other folks in town. Everybody has different. Some people had to work. But being able to have a studio during that time was one of the reasons why I was able to kind of hang on to my sanity. And it is the journey from when I first moved back to Knoxville to now. I can't believe it was 10 years, in January 2025. It was 10 years. So, this has been an interesting and really wonderful experience for me, because I've been able to kind of think about that. Because when you're back home and you're working on the 10 million projects you have to work on, you don't have time to sit and be like, hey, I should be proud of the things I've made and the people. And I feel very fortunate. That's the other thing, of the connections, the people that I've been able to meet along the way and reconnect with. So Nick and I met over 10 years. We met in 2012, 2011.
Sure.
We were trying to remember. So I met Nick through Penland because I got a grant when I lived in Brooklyn to take a lithography workshop, and
Right.
you were taking a letterpress class with Brian.
That's right.
So it is a small world scenario. We have a lot of friends all over the country that are mutual. Sarah too. Sarah and I have friends that are mutual that we've never been in the same room together. So it's really the letterpress community really there's only a tiny part of Butthead. There's only a couple Buttheads in the letterpress world. Yeah. But the rest of them, I've learned everything from just talking to lots my 10,000 plus hours and talking to people and being in spaces and having opportunities to work with things that I don't normally get to work with. So yeah. Thanks everybody for coming, and any questions you have, I can answer now, or you can come up and talk to me. And yeah, I really, really appreciate it. Also, this is a really nice space to talk in. It's not being in an auditorium or anything. It's just really chill. And, I appreciate everybody coming in this nice, cozy, hot weather. Check out. Also, the last thing I'll say is that I really appreciate being immersed in culture here. It's very, it's not very different, but 7 hours away, Knoxville, right? The flora and fauna are different here. The architecture is different here. Some of the cultural elements are different here. This is by the coast, and that very much informs how things look. And Sarah and Harry and Nick have been really great to take me around. Nick took me to Jekyll Island, which is really cool. I like seeing all aspects of these places, because that really does inform me again, into the conservationist element of this, which I think is really fascinating. And in all of the, I grew up in rural Iowa, so, seeing all these different facets of and parts of America that are just very different in ways. It's been really great to, you know, immerse myself for this short time in it. And I don't really want to go home yet, but I'll be here for another week.
Okay.
And I'm very much like, yeah, it's gone so fast. And I just like, again, thank you for everything and for putting up with me and the fact that I had a shellfish allergy. Which is unfortunate for me too, because it was recent. It was like 5 years ago, but you know, there's still a lot of great stuff to eat here. But I feel bad because like it's a little limiting for people that are trying to host me. Yeah, but thank you very much.
We appreciate all y'all being here, and seriously, we have food. We don't want leftovers.